You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacalyn.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor. And now, the doctor is in.
Hello, everyone. It is my favorite day of the week. Why? Because it's all about dating here on Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn. I am your host and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. I am a certified life, career, yoga, and meditation coach. And today, as always, we are live streaming over Business Talk Radio and social media. We have with us in the house today my co-host, Lisa Manyoky. Lisa, welcome.
Hey. Hello. How are you?
Good to see you, girl. You got a nice glow going on today. What's happening?
Oh, it's my son's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
24 years of motherhood to a really good kid. So we are going to, right after the show, we are celebrating.
What are you going to do?
You know what? I told him to invite all of his buddies, as many as he wanted, out to dinner. So I think there's about 7.
Okay. Well, that sounds like a good time.
I'll be the Pied Piper.
Well, you look very happy. I'm happy for you. So
I like anybody's birthday. It's a good excuse for a celebration. You know, yours, mine, whomever.
That's right. Every day we're here is another day to celebrate, for sure.
Sure.
We've got an amazing guest with us today. His name is Hunt, and he's backstage. Before we bring him out, he's the dating guru, matchmaker. He's putting people together, helping connect people, which is so important. But what you do also really helps people in terms of their presence. And I know you've come up with something for daters specifically. So can you tell us about presence intelligence and what you're up to over there?
I did. Finally, I promised you I'd let you know when I came up with something. So the presence intelligence alignment inventory for daters. So this is a chance for you to take a look at the best parts of who you are and maybe the ones that aren't so good, such as weaknesses in speaking or attire. It gives you an opportunity to look at what you do really terrifically strong so that you can elevate that and kind of neutralize the things that you don't do so well. But it's really easy. It's an inventory, not an assessment. So you're not going to, at the end of it, feel judged or shamed. You're just going to get a chance to see where you're doing really great and what you need to address so that it's not in the way of finding the right person for you. So it's presenceintelligence.com/daters.
I like it. Very nice. Why don't you also tell us about your work you're doing over at RVN TV?
Oh, well, okay. So I co-host this is fun. I co-host a show on Wednesday mornings. It's a variety show. It's called Morning Coffee. My buddy, Mark Iorio, who's a longtime friend of mine, our kids play ice hockey together. We interview all different types of people. So we've interviewed surgeons and physicians and technology gurus, just giving a little bit of insight about things that are available, things that are topical, current news, etc. And we have a sports update every week from a gentleman who's a former Villanova football player, Sean Passman. And then between that, we laugh and joke and tell stories and talk. It's a lot of fun.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that, Lisa. So let's bring out our guest who's joining us live from New York. You know how much I like to say that, live from New York. It's Hunt Ethridge. Here he is. Welcome.
Hunt. Hello.
You are all over Clubhouse. We were just talking about this before, and I just love the work you're doing, the room that you have. You know, people love to be around you. You've got this incredible energy. You're always smiling, and we are just honored to have you on our show today.
Thank you. It's always good to be here. One tries to do what one can to bring a little bit of light and love into the world. So thank you.
So Hunt, move a little bit to your right so we can see the sign behind you.
Hunt for advice. I like it.
Very clever.
It was between that and hunt for answers, and then I realized that none of us have any. So, the name does work well for marketing purposes.
It really does.
Sure
I
does.
did that before. It made me laugh. I thought, of course.
I have a furniture building, restoration, salvage little side business that I do, and that's a hunt and gather. So.
Oh, I love that, hunt and gather. Okay, so I just want to make sure we have everything up here on this banner because you're doing so many things. So tell us, you've got Hunt for Advice, Hunt and Gather, you've got a YouTube channel. Where would you like people to go to find out? Is there someplace there to find out everything that you do? LinkedIn, maybe?
I need to just get I own huntetheridge.com. I just have not sat down because I literally have I run a dad's group. I'm on the Jersey City Parks Coalition. I'm president of a park association. I've got all these things too, and I just need one place to kind of put it all. But for now, let's say, you can go check out my website if you want to read some of my couple hundreds of articles that I have published up there at huntforadvice.com. I have just launched on a quest myself to speak to one person in every country on the planet. I have been shopping a TV show around for a couple of years, similar to an Anthony Bourdain type style, where he travels the world and tastes the food and talks about the culture and how it relates back. I've always wanted to do the same thing about dating and mating and relationships. What is a common? What is core? What is different? What are our value systems, et cetera, et cetera. So as I was saying, being shopped around a little bit before COVID hit, and then obviously the pandemic happened and everything stopped. So I just decided, if not now, when? So I started doing it myself, and I've already talked to people in Iceland, Ukraine, Greece, Azerbaijan, and Nigeria. And I've got Swaziland, Peru, and Sweden coming up next. So that's my quest for advice. So if you want to go on YouTube and see any of my first 5 ones, you can check out there. Or like they said, I am on Clubhouse a lot, and I love running the rooms there. I love the big rooms. I love the small rooms. Come find me. Come follow me. Would love to meet you and hear what you have to say.
I think this is amazing. Quest for advice. I'm hearing myself twice. Are you?
Yeah, you're good though.
Okay.
I know we have hunts. Your new website can be Hunt for Hunt.
There you go. The Hunt for Hunt. Like, who is Hunt?
Where
really?
is he? He's everywhere.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm excited. It's just really interesting to learn. I mean, even in the U.S., if you talk to someone in Maine versus Kansas versus Key West versus Oregon, what people do dating is going to be completely different just within our own country. And so then when you extrapolate that to completely different cultures and value systems, it gets really interesting.
What kind of questions are you asking?
I got 10 questions that I asked. I'll pull them up while I'm talking about it. But basically, I want to know what the history of dating is like in your country. Like in Iceland, we talked about the Viking and who has power and what were the style of relationships and things within that, etc. Then we want to talk about what the dating culture is like at the moment in the country. For instance, in Nigeria, she was saying that the love stories are starting now, meaning that, for instance, in Nigeria and many other, let's call them developing countries, the last 100 years have not been phenomenal for women. So only now are the love stories, of finding each other and falling in love and swooning and buying a house together starting to happen. So the 10 questions that I ask everybody are: introduce yourself, give us a timeline of COVID where you are, because I think 20 years from now, it's going to be a really interesting backdrop to what is going on right now, because where we started and where we end, we're going to come out of this very differently. Then take me back historically and talk about what datings are like in your area. What are the values of your region? Because I think that the real core, what dating is understanding the ideals of your own culture and being able to showcase that. So we have to find out what the ideals are in each culture. What is the ideal man or ideal woman in each culture? Then funny and interesting dating stories like lovers' leaps or Blarney Stones or or anything like that. Then some personal dating stories about you and your country, and then just a piece of advice so that I can learn from approximately 200 different people as well too.
That's really fascinating. Where are you finding these connections?
LinkedIn and Clubhouse. I stalk people. You, as a lot of ladies can probably attest, the reason that the bad boy can be so successful is he just shows up. He's just there. He asks you. He walks up like he's just right there. So if you just open your mouth and ask something, a lot of good things can happen from that. So, and I think after, the next 20 or 30, it's going to catch a life of its own and really get that momentum going. And somewhat similar to you, once I get 20 or 30 down, I'll probably chop them up into easily digestible podcasts and stuff too, so that people can hear the fun parts of it as well. And as there are about 200 different countries, I wonder how many years it's going to take me. I wonder what I'm going to learn through this. I have 2 daughters. I wonder what I'm going to bring back to them from this. And I wonder if by the time that I am done with this, I will be talking to my own daughters about what dating is like. They are 3 and 1. So I hope that I succeed much quicker than they get into the dating world. So to anybody listening, please reach out to me from any country. I would love to speak with you because I sometimes don't know how to find you. And we can only ask the questions that we know, or we can only ask the people that we know. So anytime that I can ask anybody and new people to contact me from different countries, I would love to hear your stories. So that's my ask for the day.
I think that's fascinating what you're doing. And I bet you will learn a tremendous amount. I mean, I love to learn, meet new people, and you obviously do too, as well as you, Lisa. I do want to say hello to some people who are on Facebook. Chef at Home, who is a new follower, Frank Pomani, William Davis. I don't even know how to say this. I'm just going to say the last part. It's a business day spa. I apologize, begins with an O. And also hello to Pat Stein. So thank you for watching on Facebook. So let's talk a little bit after the break. We're going to take a short break. Let's talk about how you decided to get down this journey of matchmaking. It's really fascinating.
Totally, love to.
All right, Lisa, you're going to stay with us for the break?
You betcha.
Okay, we'll be right back.
Hey everybody, my name is Ralph Graves Jr. I'm the host of the Ralph Graves Jr. Show, and I want to invite you to pick up my book, Unstoppable. I wrote a book called Unstoppable. It's 7 universal laws that will transform how you pursue and achieve success. The one thing that my 20 years of law enforcement has taught me is that no matter who you are, we are all governed by universal laws, like gravity. But in this book, we're going to talk about laws like the law of forgiveness, laws like the law of control, the law of intelligent practice, the law of expectancy. I was able to see how those, no matter what their background was, those who identified and treated these laws with respect, they were able to go on and lead successful lives. So pick up this book, and you can go ahead and pick it up at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, RalphGravesJr.com, where anywhere where fine books are sold. Thank you.
There are 7.7 billion people on Earth today. 40% of these people are under the age of 25. Young adults are the most fertile mission field in the world today. In Scripture, we see Jesus pouring his life into 12 young adults who he equipped to change the world and all of history. Like Jesus, we believe that the best approach to reach the world with the gospel is to invest in young, emerging leaders and equip them to build disciple-making movements. Concentric is the notion of surrounding and sharing a common center. Our center is the model and strategy of Jesus for both leadership development and ministry formation. As a global alliance, we provide equipping in biblical leadership based on Jesus' example in the New Testament. Jesus modeled for us how to make disciples that reproduce. Focusing on leadership development is key to creating movements that spread the gospel and Jesus' disciple-making strategy to young leaders around the globe. Our Ministry Alliance partners are actively equipping leaders and building movements of multiplication that reproduce the life of Christ. Join us today to equip young leaders with Jesus' strategy that will change cities and nations.
The session that we had with BCAT was really entertaining and enlightening. We were able to put together some very specific steps that we as individuals can take, and it was really fun to all come together and see sort of where we're going as a team and how we can all get there together.
We had a tremendous experience with the BCAT partners. One of the challenges that we have as an organization is to make sure that we have the right people in the right chairs doing the right thing. To do that well, you have to have synergy. You can try to dream up ways to make sure that your group does that, or you can rely on experts. We would recommend BCAT partners to anybody who's looking to take their organization to the next level.
Academy Sedan and Limo is a full-service transportation company serving the Philadelphia metropolitan area with full knowledge of the New York City, Baltimore, and Washington, D.C. areas. We pride ourselves on being the most dependable, conscientious company in the industry. Our always on-time service and dependable pricing make us the company to call for any event or occasion. Our vehicles can accommodate any size party for any occasion. Our vehicles range from four-door sedans to SUVs to minivans to limo buses to full-size tour buses and can accommodate groups of 2 to 100. We offer airport shuttle service or over-the-road service without limitation regarding mileage or time, and no drive is too long or too far. So if you find yourself in need of transportation of any type with any vehicle, give us a call at 610-842-4564 and let us show you what a real transportation company can do for you.
Use code ACADEMY2020 to receive 20% off your first 3 rides, including parking and tolls.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us here today on Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn. It's all about dating. By the way, a special shout out to Pat Hoban for Academy Sedan and Limo. That guy knows how to drive. Okay, he's driven me to Long Island, and I'm still here to talk about it. That was, so I had to reach out to him. I'm here with my co-host Lisa Manyoky and our special guest, who is the matchmaker, dating coach, Mr. Clubhouse Extraordinaire, Hunt Ethridge. Thank you for being here.
Always. So
Hey, Hunt, when you're talking to your people in different countries, are you talking to men and women or just?
I want to talk to everyone. However, the dating IQs of women tend to usually be higher. A man many times has to be really clued into himself, the culture, and receptive to what is going on. I find that usually women are more in tune with that whole process because they see it more clearly. They're more tuned to it than, say, a guy really delving into, the psychology of it. I'm trying to reach more men as well, too. I'm happy that I'm also able to provide a platform for women to be able to talk about the things such as this. And for instance, in Australia and New Zealand, I'm looking to find someone that identifies as Aboriginal and someone from the Maori tribe, because I want to hear their stories. Because, I don't know, I kind of know what dating for Chris Hemsworth would be like in Australia, but I do not know what it would be like for someone of Aboriginal descent. So I do enjoy that I can give a platform to more people otherwise, but I need to find some dudes that know what the hell's going on.
Calling all dudes.
But I mean, I think that's what women have been saying for millennia. So we'll see if that happens.
When did you first realize that you had this passion and this ability, this skill to be able to bring people together?
I didn't. It was my therapist. I was going to her for various and sundries about 15, 16 years ago, as everyone should. And she said to me, the men that come in here are broken and I can fix them. But the thing that they want the most is to have a woman by their side, and I can't give them that. You know more about this than anybody I've ever met. You need to figure out a way to monetize this, and the minute you do, I'll refer all of my patients to you. Okay. So 3 resounding pats on the back from a female psychotherapist, that got at least the research. Do I know more than other people? Is there a need for this? Is it something that can be taught? Is it an art? Is it a science? Is it both? How do you break it down? How do you make it teachable? Like all of those things. But yeah, it was my therapist that really kind of gave me the push to start figuring this stuff out.
I have to say, I've never heard anything like that before. That is really amazing.
It was. It does make me wonder now what we were talking about in our sessions, and what her thoughts on me were. But we'll just leave that aside. But yeah, I mean, at that point, that was like, 2005, 6. So at that point, even online dating was considered taboo. It was the end of the end for the, basement dwellers that couldn't find any other way to meet someone. And it was the age where the book, The Game, had come out recently with its slimy pickup artistry stuff. So there was a lot of need, especially like kind of on that comment about the dating IQ. When I grew up, I'm 45 years old. When I grew up, all we had was Maxim and Spike TV. That doesn't give you a lot of resources for how to be a good man growing up. Women traditionally have always had a lot more resources, whether it's Oprah, Lifetime, Cosmo, 17, and not that a lot of those are necessarily good places to get advice, but you had resources. And women traditionally could ask each other. Men had to many times figure things out on their own, and it's getting much better now, but we didn't have the resources to even know that we needed to find stuff out. So now, and of course, men aren't the type to normally read relationship books. So it is interesting now trying to help this generation of men navigate these waters without really having been taught. And you have them sandwiched in between the post-70s feminism and the Me Too movement right now, which can be very confusing for men that aren't attuned to the subtlety and nuances of interpersonal relationships.
You said a lot right there.
Yeah, you did. I have sons, and I'm telling you that now I'm a good communicator and I'm a coach. So they had this benefit of having a mom who kept lines of communication very open. But I'm going to date myself. But I think that texting and email has really rained on the communication parade. And men and women get certain text muscles. They say or do things behind print that they would just not say face to face. And so I think that's tainted some of the dialogue that goes on, and it's provided some real cover too. So I think it's taken a big bite out of the ability to relate comfortably and directly and clearly, men and women, wouldn't you say?
Completely agree. Are you guys familiar with the phrase incel? Incel, it's a phrase that to mean involuntarily celibate.
Oh.
Go down that rabbit hole after this, but it's going to be a rough rabbit hole. Basically, these are men's rights, red pill, kind of like men are being crushed down and oppressed. We're the real ones that are being oppressed. 2 or 3 of the recent, within the last 5 years, mass killings have been self-described incels that are frustrated that they do not have access to the resources of women. This is how they phrase it. This is how they see it. So when you have a culture of disaffected men that see their only way to be seen as to kill people, it's terrifying to me that this is happening, first of all, and that, like you said, there people are hiding in their basements in anonymity and just delving into all of this horrible rancid misogyny that infects them, and there's it's almost like a cult of deprogramming. I mean, granted, these are a small percentage of people, and I'm happy with that. However, these are people that are using this, and that's where there was a resource. I had one client that would get so mad. It was a good-looking dude. Would get so mad. I'm the best-looking guy in this bar. Who those girls talking to those guys? Those guys aren't like. They should be talking to me. Those are my girls. Like the possessiveness was just, or the feeling that they were owed it through no actions of their own, simply for the mere fact of existing. So I'm doing, as you said too, Lisa, like I have 2 daughters, but I'm trying to do my part for the men in this world as well too, because we need to learn to be better communicators. We need to give ourselves validations and affirmations so that we don't leave all of the emotional baggage and support to our heterosexual partners, to our female partners. So and we are getting there. We have gotten into a place where men are, this generation, allowed to talk about their feelings. It's sometimes more than they should, overshare, if you will. But I think it's a good place to start, where we're talking about, like, even if you talk about therapy, 20 years ago, it's like, he's getting his head shrunk. Where now it's like, dude, you are not going to believe what my therapist told me this morning. Whoa. So we're taking incremental steps, but this last year is going to be interesting.
Some valid points you brought up. So I have a comment and a question. I'll make the comment first. I kind of feel like, again, not paid sponsor for Clubhouse, I kind of feel like when I'm on Clubhouse, like you can feel chemistry with someone. Like you hear someone speaking and they're doing authentic shares and you want to hear more about what they're saying. And then you want to go look them up. And then it's kind of interesting. Yep. I see you shaking your head. And then the other thing is, and this again may be a personal thing, but if you, through this whole COVID thing, I'm in a lockdown with my mother. Okay. So I haven't dated anyone. I haven't been out. I'm sure there are other people in similar situations. What's that going to look like when we all get out and you get to socialize again? It's a little overwhelming in some ways.
So I think it's going to be a Rumspringer for the world, basically. Like we all have like a combination of Rumspringer, Hall Pass, and The Purge. Let's just all we all just get a couple of months and then we'll just go back to normal again. But no, I mean exactly to your point. Social skills, like any muscle, atrophy if they are not used. Aside from, so many things are changing, but yes, exactly. So I feel like I remember there's people are going to be losing their skills and their inhibitions so people are ready to go out and do crazy stuff, but they've lost some of the social skills to go about how to do it. So we're going to have these people with huge desires with lower skill sets rather. So again, it's going to be very interesting. I went out, I had a super VIP client, the mouthpiece, call me and say that they were going to be flying into New York City April 4th to April 8th, and that they had requested that I take them out into the field into New York City to practice and learn dating. This was like a month ago. I got that phone call, and part of me was like, I didn't know we were doing that yet. And so I was like, okay, I already have one shot. I get my second shot next week, so I'm there with when it comes to the vaccinations. But I was talking to my brother who lives in California. He works for a medical device company, so he got his vaccinations on the earlier side, and he spent a lot of time in hospitals. So that was somewhat normal to him. He said, but he's like, the first time that I went back out on like a lunch date with like a business client, he's like, it was weird. Like the waitress comes over and you just kind of naturally shy away as they get closer to you because of the 6 feet. And he's like, if you are taking out this VIP guy, you have to go out. You have you hunt. You got to go out now. You got to see what people are doing. How comfortable are you? I haven't been out in a year. I haven't been out in New York City in a year. So I am now starting to put myself back out there again to answer these questions. Are people wearing fancy masks or surgical masks? Are they in groups or do they mingle? Do you touch people? Do you not touch people? Do you buy people drinks? Do you not buy people drinks? I don't know any of these answers, and it's my job to know these answers. So I have to go back out into the field again, almost like Jane Goodall and the Chimps, trying to figure out what people are doing these days. It's going to be so weird and interesting and fascinating and, all of the above.
I agree with everything you're saying. I got my second shot, so I'm actually free to go out on Saturday. My mom will be free on Sunday. And I said, where are we going to go? Like, what are we going to do? And I said, first of all, I'm not going anywhere until my face is done. So my appointment on Monday for Botox fillers. Thank you, God. Please let me make it there on Monday.
My wife's got her hair appointment already set up, like ready to get out there.
But right now I'm wearing a ball gown, believe it or not. So I'm not I wouldn't wear this out, but I can wear it here. And I am not used to wearing high heels and wearing.
No way. Screw all that. I want to go back to the 70s again. I'm growing out. I'm going for Mel Gibson, The Weapon, right? I'm growing this back out again. Fuck it. We have been inside so much. Red crushed velvet suits, ball gowns when you're doing the laundry. Like, screw it. Let's go have some fun. Right?
That's how I feel. Exactly. But I'm not used to wearing high heels. I love my high heels. I can't wait to put them back on again. I mean, I did my toes. There's certain things you have to do before you go out. You can't just, and then how do you talk to people and how close to get
to them? Talk about, what
right.
movies have you binged recently?
It's so true. Oh my gosh. We have to take another break and hear from our sponsors. So stay with us. A short break. We'll be right back. We're going to hear from Margie Cedrone. She's my personal jeweler. She does a fantastic job. One of a kind pieces. You can see them. And let's hear from Margie. Located at 121 Haddon Avenue in Westmont, New Jersey, is Margie Cedrone, artisan jeweler. Margie's been in business for more than 30 years. She works with her clients to create custom pieces of jewelry to reflect their personality and help them make their own bold statement. Starting in the renowned Jewelers Row in Center City, Philadelphia in 1988, Margie works directly with her clients to develop one-of-a-kind pieces such as necklaces, engagement rings, wedding bands, unique watches and tennis bracelets, as well as a myriad of rings and earrings for everyone in your family. She also has worked directly with Dr. Jacalyn over the years, creating unique pieces of jewelry to reflect her personality. She does pearl stringing and repairs on site at 121 Haddon Avenue. Call or text Margie at 215-384-7155. Margie Cedrone Jewelry is open by appointment only. Make your own bold statement.
I don't think men are superficial idiots, that their brains are wired to be visual. You're told I give great advice.
Nike Just Do It for exercise, I think really applies to sex too.
I've coached hundreds of men and women.
So I disagree with her where she's like, put it all out there on the first date. You know, an open book is not sexy.
Exactly. You know. Do you have relationship questions? Chances are one of my clients or myself or my friends have gone through the same thing, and I already made a video about it. So I invite you to check out my YouTube channel, Donna Barnes. I've made hundreds of advice videos based on real-life experiences so that you can make better choices.
In my upcoming Breakup Recovery Action Plan, there's going to be checklists and quizzes.
Best information that I've ever experienced or acquired. If you're stuck and can't move forward or let go, my action plan is built to help you. Subscribe to my channel. I'll help you have better relationships.
Stations are tuned in too.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
It's all about dating, and we're back. It's so good to see Lisa and Hunt. We're having a really good conversation, and I think we were just talking about what it's going to be like when we get back out there and questions that we have. Lisa, did you have anything you wanted to add to
Yeah, I mean, I'm out there, so I can tell you that I've had people ask me flat out, are you up for even getting together? They're even asking now, and have you had your shots? I mean, I feel like a puppy. That's become almost an opener. Have you gotten your second shot yet? And there are some people who absolutely, until you've had your second shot, will not even venture forward.
We get that from the matchmaking side too. Yeah. It's like, especially of people of a certain age, they're like, not a chance. Like, and I have some people that don't necessarily want to. And I'm like, well, everybody else wants their date to have it. You can make your own personal choice, but understand that might be one more barrier to getting a date.
Yep. Yeah, you know what, hon? I'm going to keep you spotlighted. So I have friends and family who are not getting the vaccine. They're not doing it. So I don't know. Like, I would think that if you're not getting it, people are not going to want to be close. They're not going to want to be intimate, right?
Well, yes, to a degree, certain degree. You know, we are a little bit older. If I was 20, if I was 22 years old and spent the last year in a studio apartment in New York City, that's solitary confinement. I will risk death rather than that. So I can understand the motivations behind the youths and what they're doing. So I think it'll probably be less so for the younger crowd. Again, that will take into account what variants and, you know, who knows what happens tomorrow. I think for, you know, people in the upper edge of the 30s upwards, it's definitely like, we're not going to get together type unless we know everyone is going to be. For the younger crowd, I'll be curious to see as well. I think it will be helpful. I'm trying to talk to one of my friends into starting a niche website called Vax Dating. The only way you can be on the dating site is to have an official vaccination, just so we can get that conversation out of the way. Mm-hmm. But like, as you said, Lisa, too, like it's sexual almost. We had to discuss with our pod family. You know, we had to become friends with one family for our kids could see other kids. And it's like, what kind of protection are you using? Are you podding with any other families? You know, what do you consider appropriate physical interaction? Really weird questions to ask people.
I was asked those questions.
Yeah.
Is a hug okay? Do you prefer a handshake, fist bump? You know, It happened.
Well, I want to share something else. So I know a lot of people who have moved during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I've moved and I'm in this beach town, which is, you know, people are going to start coming back. But
where are you?
I'm in Avalon, New Jersey.
Oh, yeah, I'm in Jersey. I live in Jersey City. So.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, you know, we've been here in this isolation. And now, like, if I want to go see my friends, if I want to see Lisa, if I want to see anybody, I've got to drive an hour and whatever, because I didn't live here before. And now I'm thinking, oh my gosh, do I want to drive all that way and have to worry about all these things? And then it's exhausting.
There's psychological, issues or problems because of this. For instance, one of my friends, my age, his parents live up in Vermont, and they're building an outdoor pulpit for their church because no one wants to go inside again. They're all vaccinated because they're all older people, but they don't want to go inside again. They're scared of being inside. And this is going to continue. You know, my parents are both vaxxed. They got both their shots. They want to see their kids, but they don't really want to get on an airplane. I can show them the science and they can understand the science, but it's the feeling of it again. And like you said too, like the human brain is an incredibly adaptive muscle. So what was not okay with us at the beginning of this pandemic is now totally normal. You know, I haven't seen people in a month and now someone's like, hey, you want to hang out tomorrow? I'm like, assumption. Like, why would I want to see a human? You know, and then we're going to have to completely retrain ourselves a bit to force ourselves a bit to get out there and to interact with the world again.
And just to add on to what you're saying, so I left my corporate job during the pandemic. I started this whole platform in August. All I do is work, or on the other side of this green screen, my workout equipment, or spend dinner with my mom. And I'm thinking, like, I'm going to change that. Like, I don't know. This is what I've been doing, and I really like it. And if I get together with people, it's a distraction. It's going to it's just like, oh no, it's a lot. It's a lot to think.
It's a lot. Well, the whole thing has been decision fatigue this last year.
Mm.
You know, every choice we make is mental health versus physical health. And I think that the year 2020 was the year of physical health. And I firmly believe that the year of 2020 is going to be the year of mental health and the year of the matchmaker, for two obvious reasons, I would think. You know, obviously whatever we all were suffering from, and we all suffer from something, got exacerbated this last year and probably is getting worse. And we're going to get back out there and we're going to be awkward and it's going to be weird and all sorts of stuff. And aside from the fact that, like, you can't walk into a bar and have 1,000 people anymore. You can't do that. How do you find people? How do you meet people these days? And like you said too, Dr. Jacalyn, like, a lot of people went into the work. Like, I don't have time to go out and just randomly hang out in a hotel lobby anymore. Why would I want to do that? I could be doing work. So this is why, you know, for all of my matchmaking and dating professional colleagues and friends, last March, everything just boom, stopped dead, just, you know, on a day. And then right now, none of us can keep up. We are all slammed. All of us have more work than we know what to do with, because of everything that is happening. And to plug myself, I just, my business partner created the Matchmaking Business Academy to teach people how to become matchmakers and certify them and train them to become dating coaches as well too. Because I know I had been working on this pre-pandemic. It was just an accidentally good time for this, because I know a lot of people have also looking for work-life changes or things that they can do from home, or they lost their jobs, or they're sick of pencil pushing and want to do something meaningful. And I accidentally fell into a brand new market that didn't exist a year ago, called the H2H market. You know, the B2B and consumer business to business. The H2H market is the home-to-home market. What can I both learn from home and be able to practice from home to make money? Which is something that we are lucky enough to be able to offer. So I hope that not only can me and my colleagues create more light and love over this next year, but we can teach more people how to bring that to other people and really start multiplying the effect.
See how we're always learning something on this show? I never heard of H2H before. Have you, Lisa?
I have not. Nope.
I just heard it during this pandemic thing, and I was like, oh, wow, well, here we are.
That's really interesting.
Great.
Yep.
So tell us, Hunt, tell us about what's your process. So somebody says, oh, got to work with Hunt. Then what happens?
Cool. So yeah, absolutely. So dating is a mix of psychology, sociology, anthropology, and sociology, psychology, anthropology, and biology. The four tenets of humanity, basically. And I bring that up because in order to really understand anything, you know, you got to delve into it a bit. I can't meet with someone for 1 hour and really affect change. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a wound. It'll, you know, make it a little bit better, but it's really not going to address the underlying issues. So for me, my minimum packages are 5 hours, because then we get 5 1-hour sessions, because then we can be like, okay, so back in the day, there was man and woman, and really start to get, because if you want to understand the motivations of yourself, the motivations of others, the motivations of society in general, you have to look at these different aspects so that you can understand it, so you know why you're doing something. Because, for instance, there's a lot of bad advice out there for dating. We'll leave that alone. But there's a lot of advice called neutral advice. An example of neutral advice would be smile. Okay. Hi, my name is Hunt. How are you? So good to see you. Obviously, I'm exaggerating and no one's really going to do that, but it doesn't tell you how to smile. And another example is be confident. Well, how? What is confidence? How do I define it? How do I become it? How can I tap into it in my own self? So in order to understand these words, we need to define them. We need to understand what the meanings of them are. And really get into it. And so I have like a curriculum set up for that, and then I have larger and more packages. And one of the things, my favorite thing to do pre-COVID was taking people out into the field. I say you can't learn baseball from a book. You have to get out there and mix it up sometimes. And it's sort of like having a dating personal trainer with you. Because okay, notice how your shoulders were really facing forward. You came straight up at her when you were talking to her. Next time, let's go talk to that one and just move your body 45 degrees and talk over your shoulder. Just see how that works. I want to see how it feels for you. And so that they can start to develop these things in real time. So I really look forward to being able to do that and offer that again.
That's exciting.
He is singing my song. I was just having this conversation. How about just let it go, or don't worry about that? Really? Okay, platitudes are us. It drives me crazy when there's so much voluminous advice.
Okay, wait. Because you said that, I have to exactly agree with you. But I use this in my coaching too. What is one of the most common pieces of dating advice? Don't worry, it'll happen, right? If I wanted to learn German and you said to me, don't worry, it'll just happen, how inane that sounds. But somehow we've got it in our head that we have to do no effort or address this. And I also blame Disney for that. But, it does create issues.
When the time is right.
Yes. Like, for example, if I continue on the journey I'm on now, then I'm not going to meet anyone unless they're delivering something to the house. So that's okay. I'm saying, but if you want to meet someone, you got to get out there. You have to take steps. I was also going to say, to your earlier point, that we're able to meet people from all over the world without leaving our house. We don't have to fly anywhere. We don't have to stay in a hotel.
And that's the thing too that's been fascinating with this whole year too, is previous to this, what you're doing, what I'm doing, my quest for advice. Before, if it was like, hey, you want to watch a dating coach in his basement talk to some girl in Nigeria over Zoom? People are like, what is Zoom? No, or Zoom coaching. I'm sure, we all have, that's all we can do now. But now, because everyone is okay with it, everyone is okay with it. I've been coaching people in Saudi Arabia. I jump into clubhouse rooms in Nigeria. I'm the co-owner of the Arab Cupid in Jordan now because of Clubhouse.
Wow.
Things are happening.
Hunt for hunt.
There you go. Hunt for hunt.
If you're on a quest for hunt, go to Clubhouse. I want to pull up your Clubhouse profile and just see all the rooms that you have. Go ahead, keep talking while I'm looking for this.
Yeah, well, like you said too, so let's talk about Clubhouse too, just because one of the reasons, and you were talking about the chemistry, what I say to my clients is we set the stage for chemistry to find us. We can't create it. It's like the X Factor. It's like luck. But we can set the stage for it to find us easier. If you say, where are you from? It's not great. If you say, tell me one of your favorite memories from childhood. It's going to set the stage for chemistry to find you easier. Now, all of the people that we normally used to see in our life, they were called weak ties. Your barista, your bus driver, the receptionist. You interacted with those because they helped your emotional regulation of the day. If you're from the New York City or Philly area, if you have to commute and somebody cuts you off, there's your anger emotional regulation for the day. We're stuck with the same people right now that have, so like, for instance, my wife, practically, we're responsible for each other's emotional regulation, and human beings are not biologically or sociologically or psychologically set up for that. So when a place and so if you go on the dating websites, I understand they are important, they are a tool, but the energy's weird. It's like going to a singles event. It's just weird. But if you create just an event and allow people to just normally bounce off each other and have conversations, that's exactly when you start to get that chemistry going. They're like, oh, you like boats? I like boats. When was your first boat ride? Oh my God, I didn't know you were on Saranac Lake. I used to go to Saranac Lake. Have you ever had the beer? Okay, what's your favorite? Right now we've got a bit of chemistry. So as soon as when Clubhouse basically came around, we were so starved for weak ties. We were so starved for interaction that it really has just exploded in a way that we couldn't have predicted before, because now we can have these rooms where we can just talk about other things and then start randomly building that chemistry again.
Kant, how are you defining weak ties? Because I've used that it's for networking when I present about networking. Tell us a little more about that.
So strong ties would be like, depending on which, there's the bullseye, your strong ties are in the middle, your family, your immediate family, say. Then outside of that, you've got like the medium ties, which are your friends and coworkers and people you see on a daily basis. And then outside of that are the weak ties, the people that your delivery guy. And when you live in a place like New York City, aside from the fact that I would physically see over 5,000 faces in one day, I would interact with the guy at the subway station, getting food, getting a drink. a crossing guard, a delivery guy, like all of those people I would interact with in some sort of a fashion in my day. And all of those weak ties would add things to your life. Let me just grab a study here.
Well, I'll tell you, Daniel Burkus is a professor of leadership and innovation, and he says that even for job offers or networking purposes, that your close familiar ties are not nearly as successful as offering you opportunity as what he calls weak ties. That came from Daniel Burkus. So your weak ties are the people on the periphery.
Yeah.
You'd think that people who know you really well would be, oh, I know that person well, let me set you up with so-and-so, but it's people on the outside of it.
Also, it's a number that you have 5 of those people. You've got 500 weak ties. You know?
Wait, can I just say this? People who were strong ties before the pandemic now are potentially weak ties because you don't see them.
We were discussing that amongst my friends, people of our age, like 40s. You know, we struggle to maintain friendships at this age. We have to work at it, you know, because our college friends and high school friends, they're in all these different places and we have to work on it. And after this year, a lot of those have fallen by the wayside. And and my friend was wondering if this our age group continuing all the way towards the end of our life will not have as many friends as people before or people after, simply just because of when in our lives this period fell.
Hun, I have a question for you. What do you think is going to happen with all the people that you know? People like you just mentioned, you and your wife are together. Okay. I'm with my mom. What about people who've been in situations, the relationship had issues, right? The foundation was kind of rocky. Now they've been together are they going to keep staying together? Are they going to be calling like divorce attorneys?
I mean, I think like I've been watching the studies and the divorce rates and all sorts of stuff like that. And the divorce rates went up at the beginning, but they kind of leveled off to now because it's kind of like if you wanted to get divorced beforehand, you're going to get divorced, sort of. Like, yes, but this is a crucible. It exacerbates everything. My wife works for the city of New York on the back end of the foster care system. She's a project manager. But one of the things that breaks my heart is that there's 70% drop in child abuse cases over the last year. And it is certainly not that 70% less abuse was happening. It's just that there are no more mandatory reporters. So when you talk about those tough relationships, I feel very much, I don't want to say I'm curious or want to find out about this as we dissect it in the next couple of years, but I cannot imagine what has been like to be physically locked into homes with, let's just call them even bad relationships, not even the really bad ones, but just bad relationships, that the home is supposed to be at least the one place where you feel safe or comforted. And I know personally, I have friends that are not okay in their relationships right now. And this is just making everything just worse. You just physically cannot get away. And maybe you could have had ways to work through it, you know, stay with your mom for a weekend, or, you know, take a weekend with the guys and get your head straight, or go on a walkabout. But we can't do those anymore. And so it will, I mean, I will be so curious to see all the different data, as you know, the months and years and decades of unpacking how this has affected us emotionally and within relationships as well.
And when we talk to some of our colleagues that are in different parts of the world, their vaccine system schedule is non-existent, or they're still in a lockdown. And every month it's like, oh, this month is going to be over. No.
It will be very interesting. So I just want to go out, and as soon as I get my second shot, I'm going to go out and lick everything.
It's pretty funny.
So long as it's not people.
You know what? Let's just see how let's start with it and see how it goes from it, you know?
Listen, my big thrill is going to be after the show. I've got a lunch club meeting, and then I'm going to walk to the post office and just to get outside. Like, oh, I'm not going to.
Joking. Like, what is going to be a first date after COVID? Hey, I've got to stop by the DMV and then go to my 7-year-old nephew's flute recital and then stop by and do my laundry. You want to come? Hell yeah! That sounds awesome. Let's do it. Yeah, just going to the
maybe it's going to give us a renewed appreciation for the little things, you know?
Yeah, no, we've gone back to slow dating, which we don't even have time to even parse apart right now. But before we had paralysis of choice, disposable dating. You could find a person in a second with Tinder around the corner, and then boom, it stopped in a second. And now we're back to slow dating again. May I hold your hand? May we have physical contact? Would you like to meet in person? So maybe there's a silver lining to this.
Kind of mannerly. It's nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. People have less interaction, so you have to make the most of them now again.
I just think it's too late, you know? And that's like even before when we talk about texting and stuff. It's really simple. Just be nice. I mean, and that is one of those platitudes really that is easy to employ. Everybody say nice things. Don't be a jerk, you know? So
I have a question. So will you be asking people to see their vaccination card, or will you just be taking it on faith that they were vaccinated?
I've taken on faith. I mean, there's already people selling fake vax cards out there.
I heard about that.
Like, what do you mean? You just gotta protect yourself. You know, I equate things to poker. Like, you gotta, you're never gonna know what the next cards you're gonna draw is. You just gotta, go in when you've got the best hand that you've got. And hope that everything's gonna, pay out. I think maybe we just identify one cool V-shaped tattoo that the whole nation gets. Like, hey, what's up? Oh, okay, all right, okay, cool. You got the V. All right, we're good.
Then we'll have counterfeit Vs.
Exactly. So, I mean, and it's gonna keep bopping around for a couple of years because we've got places that don't believe things that other places do. And so those places will get worse and other places will get better. And then the people in the worst places will go to the places that are better to get away from the worst places. And then that'll make the better places worse. And so it's just going to be, a lot of bopping around and, we'll see.
Meanwhile, we'll just keep doing shows like this that we're doing, right? And bringing people together.
If you don't know which direction to move in, just keep moving.
Keep moving forward. A couple things before we end our show. So I'm on Clubhouse and I see you've got this matchmaking academy. Why don't you tell us about that?
Sure. So my business partner, Carmelia Ray, who is seriously the queen of Clubhouse, she and I have together, we have about 30 or 40 years, 40 years experience. And we had basically taken or created almost all of the training that existed for people in our fields. It took extra training in Six Sigma and Mensa and ICF and all sorts of other stuff because there weren't necessarily places to go to get all of this information. So after the two of us had basically taken and created everything, we realized that there was still more. So we wanted to add our voices to what's out there, add our experience to what's going on out there, and be able to help a new generation of people find love. And I love my job. And I think that not a lot of people understood or even do understand what matchmaking or dating coaching is. So my goal is to really bring transparency and honesty and truthfulness to this so that the bad actors, because it's like many things, it's only the bad actors usually that get the press. If everybody does their job right, nobody hears about us. But we want to make sure that we are at least giving people a good foundational set of knowledge so that they can go out there and help. I think my catchphrase is start your next chapter so you can help others start theirs.
Yeah? I like that. I like that a lot. Thank you for sharing that with us. Also, we need to have your contact information for people listening on the radio. We've been streaming it. But again, tell us all the ways that we can reach you and the value that you are bringing to our audience today.
Thank you. Because value is everything. That's what I tell my clients. The whole thing about dating is demonstrating that you have value. That's all we want to do to each other. So come find me at huntforadvice.com. You can see lots of my writings there. Check me out. I am also, you can email me directly, hunt.ethridge@gmail. I'm very responsive on email. Check me out on Clubhouse. It's Hunt Ethridge. You can do a couple of rooms there and around and developing more. You can also find me on Instagram at Quest for Advice or on YouTube at Quest for Advice also. I'm also on Reddit at Journeyman Hunt. I've doxed myself, so find me on Reddit if you would like. I do AMAs there and answer questions as well too. But I'm very open. Please contact me. Would love to hear from you. Would love to help you out. And let's make the world more lovable.
And Hunt, you're providing matchmaking services, dating coach services. What else?
Oh Lord, if it has to do with love, I can help you. Let's just leave it at that. If I don't do it, I know everybody that does. No matter what you need, I like to joke I have my fingers in every aspect of the love industry. My slightly dirty love innuendo. But basically my job is just to make it easier for you to find love. And whether that, I have people on staff that are image consultant or that can redecorate your house or do new photographs or help somebody run your online dating profiles. So no matter what you need or want, we have someone that's going to help you with that.
It's all about connecting and giving back, and you're doing a fabulous job. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. It's always wonderful to just be able to talk about it. I love what I do, and I love making people happy.
Well, that definitely comes through. We love your passion and appreciate you being here today, and hope you'll come back and see us again and let us know
Many
what's
times.
going on.
Now we got to figure out what type of movie we're going to all do together.
Yes,
all right. We'll talk.
What will we be doing next together? Let's talk about that. That'll be fun. All right. Thank you again for being here, Hunt. I appreciate it, and we'll see you again soon.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
See you, Hunt.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Lisa, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Well, talk with Coach Lisa is always easy. Talkwithcoachlisa.com. But I think for this group here, presenceintelligence.com/daters. Just go there and check out the alignment inventory.
Give me 1 minute. I did update your banner. Here we go.
Yeah.
Let's see if I got it right. presenceintelligence.com/daters.
Yep.
All right. Fabulous.
Yep.
Any final words from you today?
Hunt for Hunt. Oh my goodness. I don't know. I think I need to go take a nap. He's energetic.
Yes, I love his energy. It's fantastic.
I like it too. I know. We can borrow from him. No, really, it's nice to know that there are still people out there who haven't been crushed by the pandemic, that they're still optimistic. I mean, life didn't end. It just paused,
That's exactly right. Yes. All right, Lisa, thanks for being here. I'm just going to close out the show. It was great having you here.
Until next week.
All right. I'll see you later. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Hi, everyone. Thank you again for watching, and thank you for watching A Better You today. If you missed that episode, we had Trish Robichaud talk to us about how to set up a team using apprentices. Very interesting. Okay, shows for tomorrow. Stay tuned. Tomorrow we have Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn presents Pet Psychic Amina, and Amina is going to introduce her guest. His name is Sunil Bashkaran. I hope I got that right. At 5 o'clock, we have Stories of Hope, Inspiration, and Overcoming Adversity. Our guest is Jan White from Jan Says Onward. I've interviewed her before. She's excellent. At 6 o'clock, we have another Clubhouse major player over there. It's The Variety Show with co-host Lori Mendelson. And actually, Alcini is stepping in for Lori tomorrow, and we have someone from Clubhouse we're interviewing on The Variety Show. His name is Kent Swampy Glade. He's all about the environment, so he's a real dynamo. Thank you again for being here. I appreciate the loyalty. Our following keeps building, and we are global now. We have 2 new shows that are coming up. I'll just tell you about them briefly. Fridays at noon, we have fashion, fitness, travel, and leisure. My co-host is Diane Floyd-Bain. She's an international author. And then starting on the 21st, we have Ian Pelham Turner, and that show is called Royally Rich, the Great Britain edition. If you missed it, Ben Shai is my co-host on the Underdog Show. So we've got a lot going on here. We're trying to bring you content that you enjoy. We love to hear from you and tell us if there's anything else that you're looking for in terms of content. But that's all for today. It's a wrap. I'll see you later.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Homes for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.